In competitive Pokemon, some Pokemon are just plain better than others, and much more viable, like how Garchomp is basically Flygon but better, or how Fortress got completely power crept by Ferrothorn. This is unfortunate, but many Pokemon are just trash compared to other ones. Just like in competitive Yu-Gi-Oh!, the game has been power crept to the point where decks like Dark Magician and Blue Eyes White Dragon are borderline unplayable at any serious Yu-Gi-Oh! Tournament. And don't even pretend that those decks are good, because they are not. Not in the slightest.
My grandpa's deck has no pathetic cards, Kai.
The Smogon PU tier makes it so really bad Pokemon like Seaking and Ponyard can have a metagame where they aren't completely power crept by better Pokemon, which is really nice. But are these PU Pokemon really that bad? And can they compete against OU Pokemon, the competitive big leagues of Pokemon Showdown? No!
No, God!
In this video, I'll be showcasing just how difficult it is for PU tier Pokemon to compete against OU powerhouses. It's possible to beat OU teams with only PU Pokemon, but it's really, really hard. You absolutely have to rely on a combination of extreme luck or your opponent being just bad at the game. I have managed to win against semi-competent opponents, but it was not easy to do. The OU tier is more power crept than ever, and has many obscenely powerful threats like Aegislash, Greninja, and Dracovish, whereas the PU tier has to rely on offensive Pokemon like Glaceon, Fracture, and Palpitoad, of all things.
A true piece of trash.
The difference in power is astronomical. I will say that in a vacuum, some of the PU Pokemon really aren't that bad and are actually good in certain cases, but creating a full team of PU Pokemon that's cohesive is a massive challenge. I'll showcase some of my battles, but before that I'll show you probably one of the more optimal teams I've come up with. Overall, I'll say that there is no such thing as an optimal PU anti-meta team. There are some mons that can beat out certain OU mons in some cases, but this is very hard to pull off consistently, as overall, OU teams will have an answer for almost anything that you can throw at them. Bear in mind that there is no optimal PU team for this challenge. It all comes down to player preference. This team isn't perfect, and there are a few changes I'd make, but I did get slightly less awful results with this one. It's probably the better PU team that I've come up with. I'll explain other useful mons which weren't on this team also, but the first Pokemon on this team is Lapras. In hindsight, Lapras was an underratedly good Pokemon in the OU tier, with great offensive coverage and nice bulk. Surf, Ice Beam, Freeze Dry and Thunderbolt allows you to hit so many things super effectively. I went for max offense and HP investment to make this into a hard hitter that can reliably take a hit. It can beat down sweepers easily enough, but unfortunately, some defensive Pokemon like Clefable and Ferrothorn can still wall out Lapras despite its max special attack stat. Also, the Water Absorb ability makes this very useful, as it can reliably counter Dracovish and beat it with Freeze Dry, which is really nice. Thunderbolt also allows it to easily switch in and take out Corviknight, which is another really good thing about this Pokemon. Honestly, Lapras isn't all that bad in its own right, though it's by no means overpowered either. In hindsight, the only thing I would change about this set is that I would give it a Life Orb instead of a Choice Specs, as you want to be able to use its moves for coverage. The next team member, and an arguably decent one, is Manectric. This used to be in the RU tier, which is kinda weird, but I'd say it's one of the more useful PU Pokemon, due to its good speed and offensive capability. Unfortunately, there's no hidden power in this game yet, which is annoying. Hidden power Ice would have been pretty nice, but fire and electric coverage is still good, allowing you to check Corviknight and Ferrothorn, though Ferrothorn is still most likely able to take a hit. It can also outspeed a good amount of Pokemon. It can hit decently hard, even if it isn't as strong as threats like Zeraora. Now, next up here is Silvally, which is arguably one of the best PU Pokemon. There is no optimal Silvally build, but I chose to go for Silvally Poison to round off my team, as I had no real answer for Clefable. Multi-attack is really strong, and Parting Shot is a good move. However, that's pretty much all it can do. I was unsure about the other two moves. Overall, this set is really up to your own preferences. I will say that Swords Dance and Firefang really did come in handy against Corviknight and Ferrothorn, so I would recommend that. Throw is an okay-ish fighting type, which is meant to just hit really hard with good defensive options, similar to Lapras but on the physical side. It's got decent bulk on top of that. It can deal a lot of damage and take a hit in the process. Now arguably the two most important Pokemon on the team, Meowistic Male is genuinely useful because of its prankster ability. I went for a defensive dual screener build to support my final setup strategy for my last Pokemon. With Thunder Wave to slow down certain threats, Meowistic is here to help me set up for a win. The last and most important Pokemon in the whole team is Musharna. This was the win condition of the whole team. I went for a physical defensive calm mindset, giving it huge physical bulk and recoverability. I used this because the truth of the matter is that in the vast majority of cases, you just will not win against OU teams in a straight up fight. You need to take a risk and have some kind of setup trump card that can buff your Pokemon enough to beat your opponent. It's a risky strategy, but most times it's just necessary to win, as you will not win in a straight up fight. I have won several games with Musharna. It is a nice wall, and once it sets up, it's stupid strong. My overall conclusion while playing PU is that you will lose. A lot. You have to accept that and be prepared. Even the worst OU teams will outright steamroll you. One mindset I use in team building my attackers was to invest in the HP stat instead of speed, like for Lapras, Silvally and Fro. This is because most sweepers will outright outspeed you regardless, so it's just better to make yourself able to take a hit better. And another really important thing about this team, yes, it cannot counter every OU strategy, and it does not have an answer for every threat. This is something that you'll just have to accept. There is no PU team to my knowledge that can handle everything the OU tier can throw at it, so you have to accept that certain things will outright destroy you. That's why my setup Musharna build was so important for my strategy. In most battles, you've almost automatically lost, but if Musharna manages to set up a few Calm Minds, at least then I've got a chance of winning. But anyways, enough with this theory, time for some battles. I'll show you a small portion of my many crushing defeats, so you can understand just how outmatched I was. The first battle here was basically over before it even began. My team could not stop the Snorlax Corsola at all, and was just powerless to resist. I did have a chance to win towards the end, where I started to set up with Musharna, but the Zeraora did too much damage with knockoff, and was able to finish me off easily. The next battle was an even more crushing defeat. I pretty much got beaten back straight away. I tried to play around the King Shield with Fro, and to switch in Manectric to trigger the Lightning Rod, but this backfired completely. This was probably the fastest defeat I'd gotten. In this game here, I made a few experimental changes to my team. I added Hitmontop and Zweilous. Hitmontop has some uses, but it didn't end up working out that well in the OU tier. Zweilous was more of a funny spicy tech I wanted to try out. I know it sounds crazy, but the hustle ability makes Zweilous attack stat even higher than Garchomp's, which is really funny. It could use Eviolite for some decent defense. Zweilous can hit hard and has some good coverage options, but it's still not that viable. Anyways, I basically had no way of winning this battle. I got completely swept by this Corviknight. Oh god, I'm getting whipped. This is so hard. These OU Pokemon are just too strong. But just as I was about to lose hope, I made a few adjustments to my team, I had another battle. Then, a miracle happened. Holy moly, I won! I actually won a battle against an OU team. Granted, my opponent wasn't the best player and did make some questionable plays. Also, I'm not that high in the OU rankings. But still, I finally got a win. I got lucky with my Zuelos not missing, and my Macharna managed to set up and sweep. Its physical defense is super high, so once it sets up even 2 Calmines, it's a super tank. Awesome! But you know what? Let's play against a more capable opponent. Let's go! Oh baby! Macharna and Manectric were just putting in work in this battle. Offensively, Manectric is not that bad. But I'm not stopping there. I'm gonna keep on winning with this team. What is happening? I'm on a roll. My team's doing so well right now. I managed to outpredict my opponent and counter their team really effectively. Was I wrong this whole time about my PU team? Are these PU Pokemon actually playable in the upper tiers?
Wrong.
Well, it turned out that the string of victories was very short-lived, as right after that I ranked up a little bit and started playing against actual competent players, who ended up swatting my team like nothing. The winning streak was short-lived, as right after that I went back to getting absolutely bodied. And with that, my teams went back to being borderline unplayable. Overall, with proper team building and good prediction skills, you could beat OU teams with only PU Pokemon, but as soon as you start playing against high ranking players, your chances of winning go down drastically, and even then the only reason I won those few battles was because I managed to set up with Masharna, which is incredibly overpowered once it goes off, essentially bypassing a Pokemon's bad stats. This pretty much concludes the video. You can try this challenge yourself, and I'll say that the team that I showed at the beginning of the video is my most optimal one for this challenge. It worked well enough for me, so feel free to use it yourself. With some perseverance, skill, and a lot of luck, you too can beat the strongest Pokemon in the metagame with random lower tier Pokemon. Anyways, thank you for watching. This is a new kind of video on my channel, so if you enjoyed it then definitely show some support. If this video does well enough, I'll make more Showdown related challenge videos. And with that, I look forward to seeing you all again. This is Ding Dong, signing out.